Democrat candidate for Senator Franklin Bunker Meno. We have Republican candidates Sandra Reyes and Leon Guerrero. The format, well, good morning, everybody. We'll throw you up here in the Zoom room. The format, as Jason has explained, you guys get a 1-minute opening statement, and then we'll fire some questions. Each question, you guys have 2 minutes to respond, and we will cut you when the time runs out, and then you get a 2-minute closing statement. So we'll just get right into it, and we'll start. Ladies first, Sandra Reyes, Republican candidate for Senator. Good morning, Sandra. Unmute. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Good morning, Chris, Bree, and Jason.
Good morning. We'll just get right into it, Sandra. Go ahead. You have 1 minute for your open.
All right. My name is Sandra Reyes, and I am running for a seat in the 36th Guam Legislature. The reason why I am running is because I am very disappointed in our administration and in the 35th Guam Legislature. I feel that we need someone sitting to be the voice of the people. We need someone with integrity and somebody who is not afraid to voice themselves and to stand up for our people. That's why I'm running.
Thank you, Sandra. Ken, you have 1 minute.
I'm Leon Guerrero. For the past 12 years, I've been a community advocate standing up for the people before administrations, legislatures, and government agencies. And I'm running for the legislature because we're facing very serious times right now. And we need people in the legislature that are going to put the welfare of the people ahead of the welfare of politically well-connected insiders. The current group in the 35th legislature has proven themselves incapable of putting the people up first. So that's why I'm running, and I'm hoping to get your vote. I'm number 9 on the Republican side, and I'm hoping to get your vote and that you also support all the other new candidates, because the only way we change the future of our island is to change out the people making that future.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken.
Now to Democrat candidate Franklin Bunker Meno. Bunk, are you there?
Unmute too.
Unmute and turn on the camera. Okay.
Looks like we may have lost him.
We might have lost him. He could jump in a little bit later. So, Bree, we'll just jump into the question portion of this segment.
All right, aside from a myriad of other issues, the coronavirus pandemic exposes the need for the government of Guam to be more accessible in terms of using more technology to be able to conduct business electronically. Just saying you have a website, Facebook page doesn't exactly, cut it. Or saying that our employees are teleworking. What will you do if elected to improve e-government? And we'll start with you, Sandra.
Sandra, you have 2 minutes to respond to the question starting now. Unmute.
We need you to unmute. Can you restart the time?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question, please? Sorry.
Sure. Aside from a myriad of other issues, the coronavirus pandemic exposes the need for the government of Guam to be more accessible in terms of using technology to be able to conduct business electronically. Just saying you have a website, a Facebook page, or employees are teleworking, that doesn't cut it. What will you do if elected to improve e-government?
Sandra, you have 2 minutes to respond starting now.
Probably having more outside locations besides, like, say, Department of Tax and Rev, to cut down lines there. I hope I'm answering your question correctly, but having sources outside of Tax and Rev where people can register their vehicles and stuff like that, because I've come from places where they've sourced out to, like, the tire shops or the places where you get your vehicles inspected. That would cut down the lines at Department of Tax and Rev. People could go get their cars inspected and stuff like that, and at the same time get their registration. Because having one location, and especially with the coronavirus here, we don't need all those people in one spot, you know, have them outsourced to different locations. It'll be a lot safer for people and a lot more convenient, or even doing things online.
Thank you, Sandra. Ken,
Thank you.
you have 2 minutes to respond to the question starting now. Unmute yourself, please.
Well, the first thing I would do is I would work very closely with the administration to upgrade the technology platform. We're on a 20, 30-year-old technology platform right now. We need to move into this century. And then I would put all the databases on the one machine, because you shouldn't, whenever you do any government of service, you shouldn't have to re-enter all of your contact information. It should all be on one database. And then I would push customer service down to the village mayor's offices. And that way we have a couple of people in each mayor's office that can do all of the Government of Guam customer service routines. So whether you're going into Government of Guam to renew renew a registration, or apply for any program or anything, pay a bill, any type of customer service should be available at one location in the village offices, which will cut down the amount of travel we have to do, the numbers of people we're standing around, and it'll make better use of the existing staff that we have. Because a lot of times the customer service people at different departments are just sitting around waiting for customers. If we have all government services available at the village level, at the mayor's office, on one platform, we'll be able to provide better service to our people with minimal increase in cost of delivering those services. That would be what I would look at doing, because we don't know how much longer the existing platform is going to be supported. And we don't want to see the same thing happen to Government of Guam that's happening to the hospital now that their system is obsolete.
Thank you, Ken. Ken, in your open, you talked about electing all new candidates. That being said, if you two are elected, are you confident in your ability to do some of the legislative things that come with the office, like writing bills? We'll start with Ken. We'll just keep it with you. 2 minutes to respond starting now.
Yes, I am. It's not rocket science. You know, we have established parameters for drafting legislation, and we've got enough people in the legislature that have years and years of experience at taking care of the technicalities, making sure that bills submitted by the senators in the legislature meet the requirements. That's why we have the legislature's legal advisors and generations of staffers that have been through the process that will advise the incoming senators. Plus, as new senators, we'll be inheriting staff from outgoing senators, many of whom have been intimately involved in the drafting process. And I feel very confident in the ability of the new senators, because one of the things this new group of senators, I hope, will be focused on the real problems facing the legislature and the people of Guam right now. With 35,000 people out of work, we should be concentrating on legislation to restart our economy, take care of our people, and strengthen public health so that we can better ride out anything that happens in the future. But what do we see with the existing senators right now? They're introducing headline bills like Amanda Shelton's suddenly discovered, oh my God, senior citizens are having trouble finding affordable housing. Here we are, 18 months into her term, and she's just discovered this, yet she'll go out and write pork barrel bills, handing out money left and right in an effort to get reelected, or we're gonna embrace whales, or red balloons, or the dumb hiker bill. We need the new senators coming in to focus on the real problems facing most of the people on Guam.
Thank you, Ken. Sandra, you have 2 minutes to respond to the question starting now.
Draft up bills. I've already have like my sister's been helping me out with a lot of stuff. So she sent me how to write a bill. So I have that in my files to go over that. But also, you know, there's staffing to help with the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
Oh, thank you. So I wanted to ask more then about your ideas and suggestions to help businesses that have shut down, businesses that are barely surviving right now. So what will you do to rebuild our economy? And we will start with you, Sandra.
Well, we need to get our businesses up and running again. We need to cut the taxes and fees for these businesses because right now they're not making any income. So, you know, we got to get them up and running and see how we could fund them to help them with their expenses. We need to open them up 100% because opening them up 25% is not going to cut it. It's not going to pay their bills. It's not going to pay their staff. It's probably barely even hanging by a thread, you know, for those businesses who could open up again. But we need to cut on their taxes and fees till we get, you know, till we get our island up and running again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Ken, you have 2 minutes to respond to the question starting now.
Well, the first thing I would do is I would look at our procurement processes and I would introduce legislation that during this time frame, that unless there is no availability of a product or a service on the island, the government of Guam will be mandatory to purchase items locally, pushing purchases out to local businesses. And I would increase the size of the allotment from 15,000, where they need 3 bidders. I would put it up to 25,000, where they only need to get 3 bidders. They don't have to do a whole RFP process. That would get more business into the smaller businesses faster. And also during this time, I would look at ways that we could reduce the fees and taxes that the businesses have to pay. Now, we can't eliminate the business privilege tax, but we could reduce it down to 3% and still meet our bond covenants. There are other things that we should do, but the biggest thing is opening up the economy smartly. When I say smartly, you know, why did we shut down all the bars and restaurants when the majority of them are small businesses? And as small businesses, they are better able to enact safety protocols and enforce them. But we leave the big boxes open that have hundreds of people and minimal staff running around in them. And we know that they're not sanitizing Home Depot the way Ruby Tuesdays sanitizes their restaurants. So we need to be smarter about how we treat the existing businesses, because if they all close, we won't have a tourist industry to support when the planes do start flying.
Thank you, Ken. Next question, simple one. Why are you running for senator? And we'll start with Sandra. Sandra, you have 2 minutes to respond to the question, starting now.
Okay, you know, I am not a seasoned politician, and I don't know, and I'm not very knowledgeable, but you know, I am a fast learner. And the reason why I'm running is because I've had enough of what's been going on our island. You know, the issues that have been going on have been before COVID. Okay, now that COVID is here, the issues, it's just gotten worse, and I'm up to deal with handling it. But my platform is transparency and accountability within our government. You know, we have to hold Adelup accountable. We have to hold these agencies accountable. And what I'd like to do is I would like to engage the OPA on his audit findings to remedy the audit findings so issues aren't continually carried over and never resolved. I am an advocate of victims' rights. There's you know, it's not worth having a victim's bill of rights if there is no accountability or consequences when the victims are violated. You know, and the healthcare system, it affects everybody here on the island. You know, there's a lot of sick people here. We need to try to entice good doctors, good nurses to serve, you know, to help the people of our island. We shouldn't have to be going to the States, or we shouldn't have to be going to the Philippines when we could get good health care here and, you know, good health care and help. These doctors and nurses need to be held accountable as well.
Thank you, Sandra.
So that's my platform.
Okay. Thank you. Ken, you have 2 minutes to respond to the question starting now.
Well, for the past 6 years, I have been trying to reform the election process, because the way the existing election process is set up, it's geared to politically well-connected insiders being reelected over and over again. And it also prevents a lot of the best and brightest of our community from even contemplating a career in public service. I was halfway through the process of a voter initiative when COVID hit, not able to finish it that way, so I decided to do it from inside the legislature. And the other reason I'm running is, for years I've been a member of the Non-Communicable Disease Consortium, working with a lot of other people to try to improve the health of the people on our island. And so that's going to be my second focus. First, reform the election process and start opening up government to making it more accountable. But more importantly, we need to strengthen our public health care system, because our chronic disease rates are going up. And if you look at the COVID death rate, we've only got like 5 that are COVID, and all the rest are comorbidities, you know, that also have COVID. But the fact that we have 90% of the people who have passed away since this COVID began pass away primarily from the comorbidities that were aggravated by COVID infection tells us we have a long way to go to address public health care on this island. And that's the other reason why I'm running.
All right. It was in April when the Army Corps of Engineers released its assessment of the Guam Memorial Hospital, which basically said it's a hot mess. It's an overall state of failure. What will you do if elected? Do you support the construction of a new hospital? Do you support renovations? What will you do to improve the conditions at GMH? Ken?
Well, the first thing I would do would be to renovate the existing building, because we haven't got the money to build a new building. Renovating the existing building will be faster and more cost effective than building a new building. As we saw with JFK, I mean, with Simon Sanchez High School, that's my cat. Renovating Simon Sanchez High School, you know, we had pork barrel politicians, politically well-connected insiders descending on that project like vultures on a carcass, all trying to rip off millions of dollars of public funds. The same thing is going to happen with any new hospital project, because it's the largest construction project on the island with hundreds of millions of dollars flowing. So we need a group of senators and I don't want to call them politicians, public servants, watching all that procurement process like a hawk to make sure that the money goes to building and renovating the existing hospital, because it's going to cost 4 times as much to build a new building the same size as it will to renovate the existing building we have. And that's why my approach would be to renovate the existing building over building a new one, because the people of Guam can't afford it. We've got 44,000 households paying taxes. It's not like we're Los Angeles, where we have something in the neighborhood of 29 million households.
Thanks, Ken. Sandra?
Well, you know, our government has no money, you know, and we have to look at the foundation, the structure of our current hospital to see if we can renovate it. You know, we got to take good care of, you know, our buildings and stuff, but it's sad. We are in a lot of trouble here. And I think the best thing to do right now is to renovate it if we can, because honestly, where are we going to get the money from? We got millions and billions of dollars from the federal government, but where is it at? You know, we need to start putting our money where things are needed, not on payroll and creating new jobs and, you know, within Adelu. But I don't know. We're going to have to renovate this hospital. I mean, we don't have the money to build a new hospital. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Next question, guys. What letter grade, A through F, would you give the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration's handling of the coronavirus pandemic? And we'll start with you, Sandra. You have 2 minutes to respond to the question, starting now.
A total grade? A total grade?
Yeah, letter grade, A through F.
I'm gonna give them a D+. And the reason why I'm giving them a D+ is because, for one, when this COVID-19 hit our island, the people of our island got locked down for 3 months. She did not take that 3 months and make it productive. You know, that 3 months, we could have tested everybody here on this island, but we didn't do that. We pick and choose who we were going to test. Another reason why I gave her a D+ is because, you know, she has to be a leader, you know, and that picture that I posted of her not wearing a face mask, okay, it's not all about the face mask. I know she was exercising, but the person she was with was wearing a face mask. There was no social distancing. You know, as a governor, if you're going to set these mandates on people, you need to follow them as well, you know. And whenever she goes on and does her press conferences, she literally slaps the people's faces, you know, and that is that upset me a lot because, for one, you don't know if we have food banks on the island. Her very first press conference, she said, Guam has money, but I'm going to save it just in case something happens. Well, I don't understand. What else can happen? You know, it's just, she didn't take into account of how the people of our island were surviving. 2-3 months into this pandemic, you know, she's like, oh, we realize the people of our island need help. Well, you know, well, thanks, Governor. But you know what? If it wasn't for the everyday people
Sandra.
here of our island.
Thank you, Sandra. Sorry.
Okay.
Ken, you have 2 minutes to respond to the question, starting now.
I give her an F. And the reason I give her an F is because her first priority throughout this pandemic has been to take care of politically well-connected insiders. We saw it with the sweetheart, no bid, even no signature contracts that were going out to the Pacific Star and other companies closely affiliated with the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration. We saw when companies that have no business license to sell PPE were getting contracts for millions of dollars of PPE. We saw when contracts were going out for millions of dollars of PPE to Department of Education at a time Department of Education was shut down. There were no schools and no one attending any of the going to any of the buildings. So need I say anything about the 19th floor and taking a bunch of government of Guam directors and deputy directors and giving them double pay and bonuses while they partied all night up at the hotel? You see, there's a big difference between taking care of the people and taking care of the people who got you into office. Now, technically speaking, we all got her into office with our vote, but what we're seeing is all the support, or a majority of the support, going to the people who have donated generously to her campaign, and we're not seeing any support coming from the legislature to support the people as well. So they're all included in that F. You know, they put politicians first, politically well-connected insiders second, and the people of Guam a very, very distant third when it comes to how they're dispensing the funds from the federal government.
Well, I think it's clear how you guys feel about the administration. You know, there's others out there that also have lost trust. in our elected leaders, whether it be, the administration or the legislature. But you guys are running. Why should I trust you? We'll start with you, Ken.
Well, I have a 12-year track record standing up for the people of Guam before the legislature on many issues, on taxes, on special appointments, on the pay raises, on property zonings, gambling, cigarettes, health issues. So I have already spent 12 years engaging in those critical issues. I've been engaging with the government at many levels on accountability and transparency. I've filed 5 lawsuits against the government for what I consider to be violations of civil rights or government law and process. So I've got a track record of doing that. And when people vote for me, I'm just going to continue to do what I've been doing, but instead of from a seat in the hearing room, I'll be doing it from the floor of the legislature, where it'll be a little harder for the senators to ignore me. So that's one reason. The second reason people should vote for me is the fact that I have been working to educate the voters of Guam. I've published a lot of information over the years, helping voters understand how the government is using and abusing the privileges that we as voters have granted them. And I'm hoping that should I be fortunate enough to be elected, that the voters will continue to monitor my activities the same way I've been monitoring the activities of the existing senators and administration officials, because it's their government. I will work for them, so they need to manage me as they would any other employee.
Thank you, Ken. Sandra, why should we trust you?
Why should you trust me? Because I'm a person of integrity. I am more of action instead of words, because apparently, as you guys can tell, I am not very good at interviews. But I am more of a person of action. I care. The reason why I'm running is because I care about our island. I care about our people. That is the only reason why I'm running. People always say, are you in it for the money or are you in it for the power? And, to me, a senator only makes $55,000. I came to Guam knowing I was going to take a pay cut. To me, this is not about money. This is about taking care of the people of our island and getting our island back to where it should have been way before COVID. I want to be proud of our island. And I don't just agree with everybody, and I'm not persuaded by other people. I do things if I think it is good for the people of our island. So that's why I think you should trust me.
Thank you, Sandra. Next question. What will you do to improve the legislature's role as a check and balance on the other branches of government if you guys win a seat in the legislature? Ken, we'll start with you. You have 2 minutes to respond to the question.
Well, the first thing I would do is I would push to increase the legislature from 15 to 21 people. I would go to a part-time legislature so we would be able to attract more of the best and brightest into the legislature who would be willing to stand up and give public service to our island. And then I would introduce and pass legislation that I call the Corrupt Practices Act. This would be a bill that would allow citizens who identify areas where the government has abused its power and authority to sue the government and be able to address those concerns. Because the way things are right now, I've had to sue the government 5 times, but because the Attorney General refused to take any action because they technically represent the government, and that would put them in a conflict of interest. So if we don't have anybody holding the administration accountable, and there's only a limit to what we can do as senators, oversights are fine, but oversights don't really change anything. And I say that as a person who has sat through numerous oversight hearings and watched the dog and pony show of directors and government officials who come here and they will answer every question with, I'll have to get back to you, Senator. I'll have to get back to you, Senator. So there's really no teeth in an oversight hearing. What we need is public servants in the legislature that will be able to take actions that will rein in the excesses of the administration. But the only way that happens is if we open up the legislature to allow public servants to serve instead of the recycled core of political insiders we see most of the time.
Thank you, Ken. Sandra?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat that question?
Sure. If elected, what will you do to improve the legislature's role as a check and balance on the other branches of government in the government of Guam? You have 2 minutes to respond, starting now.
Like I said before, I would like to engage the OPA and remedy the findings, the audit findings, so issues aren't continually carried over and never resolved. But I do want to respond to something that Ken said about the part-time legislature. I am against part-time legislation. And the reason why I am is because I feel that if you're a public servant, you're a public servant every day, every day. If it's about the money, then the legislature can work full time and take a pay cut, because how can you serve the people of our island part-time? Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
The Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program expires at the end of this year. We don't know yet if Congress is going to pass another stimulus package and whether the president is actually going to sign it. What do you plan on doing? Any legislation you plan on introducing to help the 35,000, possibly even more, that might still be left unemployed when January rolls around? Do you support a local unemployment program? Sandra?
If we have a local unemployment program, the businesses will have to pay into that. Our businesses are barely surviving right now. They're not even open. Well, they're starting to open up again. But we need to create jobs. We need to create jobs. We need to help the farmers. We need to help the fishermen, not only to create jobs, but to support our local community and hopefully get into the get into exporting. We need to create more jobs. And maybe Lou set aside some of that money just in case we're not approved after December, to help the people of our island. Hopefully that money that she's earmarked is for that. Thank you.
Ken?
Well, I believe that we do need to create an unemployment insurance program, because even before COVID hit, we had an economy that created mostly low-wage service sector jobs that paid minimum wage or just barely, what I call poverty wages, requiring most people working in the tourism industry to have 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to put the basics over their head. And now we're in the middle of a pandemic. We have our main industry, tourism, which is going to be shut down for 2 or 3 years. We have no guarantee that there's going to be any more federal money coming our way, yet the legislature is budgeting as if that 1.6 billion is guaranteed. What will an uninsurance program do? It will help stabilize the ebb and flow of jobs, because as we see, when tourism drops off, people get laid off. And that's a lot of people that get laid off until tourism picks up. So some people will say, yeah, but it's going to be a cost to the business. Well, it's a cost to the people as well. And yes, the people are the ones that are ultimately going to be paying whatever that cost to the business is, because the businesses aren't going to pay it. They're going to put it in their pricing structure. We saw that when the business privilege tax went from 4% to 5%. You know, the businesses didn't pay that. Some did, but most passed it on. The same thing will happen when we have an unemployment insurance program, but hopefully our economy will come back and we'll be able to get to the point where we won't need to have those types of programs. But you tell any one of the 35,000 people out of work that we're not going to take care of you, that's going to be a short career in public service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Next question. You guys have both been very critical of the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration. And so I challenge you to name 2 things that this administration has done that you actually support. And we'll start with you, Sandra. You have 2 minutes to respond to the question starting now.
What has this administration done that I support? I'm going to have to think really hard about this one. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to pass on this question.
Thank you, Sandra. Ken, you have 2
minutes. Oh, wait.
Oh.
She's made lots of proclamations. She's good at that. That's the only thing.
Thank you, Sandra. Ken, you have 2 minutes to respond to the question starting now.
Oh, man. I can't think of a single thing that this administration has done that has been a benefit to the people of Guam or the business community of Guam. I could think of, I was critical of the administration before they were even elected. And I predicted that this administration would be a pork barrel administration. And I'm sad to say that I was right, starting from the very first week in office when they gave everybody massive pay raises and hired a whole bunch of exempt employees. So if they're good at anything, I think it would be raising the income levels and providing job security for their loyal supporters. That's about the only thing I can think of.
Thank you, Ken. I think it's time now for our closing statements. We're going to give you 2 minutes each to close out this candidate interview. And we'll go ahead and start with you, Sandra Reyes, Republican candidate for Senator. Sandra, your 2-minute closing statement starts now.
Hi, my name is Sandra Reyes. I am number 10 on the Republican ballot. I do humbly ask for your vote. The reason is because I am a true public servant. I am in this for the people and for our island. I want to be the voice of our people. I don't understand why, but I am not scared to stand up for our people and for what's right for our island. So I will be that voice, and I will make sure, I help prioritize what's important on our island at this time of COVID and beyond. So please vote for me. My name is Sandra Reyes, number 10 on the Republican ballot, and I am truly for the people here on island. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Ken, your 2-minute closing statement starts now.
Well, as you know, I'm Ken Leon Guerrero, Republican candidate, number 9 on the Republican side of the ballot. And for 12 years, I was a community advocate. So I've provided 12 years of public service, and I'm extending my public service, hopefully, into the legislature. And it's very important that we get more public servants into the legislature this time around than ever before, because the current policymakers, the current senators in the 35th are charting a very dangerous course that's going to take Guam right over the edge of the financial cliff that Puerto Rico went over in 2016. As a result of pork barrel politics, Puerto Rico now has a federal board of financial supervisors who approve every expenditure by the Puerto Rican government. The way the senators of the 35th legislature have acted over the past 2 years has put us directly on that course before the COVID hit. Before the pandemic, Guam was financially struggling, and it's sad to say that the only thing that good to come out of the COVID pandemic was the fact that the government of Guam got $1.6 billion pumped into the economy and collected enough taxes that we did not have a budget deficit this year. So to prevent the same things from happening again, we need to change the people in charge of making policy, and I hope that I'm one of them. If I'm one of those people, you can bet that I will make sure that any legislation that comes into the legislative hall will be scrutinized carefully to make sure that it benefits the people of Guam over the political insiders of Guam.
Thank you, Ken. And Sandra.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, this has been our K-Wave News Decision 2020 candidate interviews. Again, Republican candidate for Senator Sandra Reyes Seau and Republican candidate for Senator Ken Leon Guerrero. Good luck, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you very much.
Wash your hands. Well, the comments was just brutal.
Yeah.
It is.